Strategies to win in a multiple offer situation. So this market is absolutely crazy, especially in some areas. Homes only last for a day and some don't even make it to the market at all. So I thought I'd make a video on how exactly you can win in these crazy multiple offer situations. So the very first thing you can do is get there as quickly as possible. I mean, day one that it comes on the market, make sure you're checking your email and you're set up on a search and you get in there day one. And after that, write up an offer. Don't think, oh, I'm gonna sleep on it for a day or two. Well, most likely if you do that, the home will be gone or the home will have multiple offers and your opportunity is gone to get it before it gets, too crazy. So the next thing to really keep in mind is that your type of financing can affect the sale or can affect whether you're going to have your offer accepted. So you've got FHA, you've got VA, you've got conventional, you've got cash, you've got all of that fun stuff. Well, cash is typically king because the seller's not going to have to worry about whether the home appraises. They're not going to have to worry if the financing falls through. There's very little risk with cash, all the way down to, unfortunately, VA, FHA, all those things. Those are just a little more risky for the seller because the appraiser is going to be more strict and they can have more requirements. I'll kind of go over a little bit more about the appraiser here in just a bit. So the next thing you can do is obviously purchase price. Now, one thing to keep in mind is, as I said, an appraisal. So you can come in, you can see a home, it is for $200,000. You can offer $300,000 because you're like, oh, I gotta have this house. Well, unless you're a cash offer, that doesn't actually mean a whole lot to the seller. OverAppraised value is going to mean a lot more to the seller because you can say that you want to pay $200,000 or $300,000 for a $200,000 home, but when you go to the bank and you ask for a loan, they're going to send out an appraiser, and the appraiser's only job is to assess the value of the home. And if he comes back and says, hey buddy, it's only worth $200,000, well, you're going to have to come up with the difference or have the seller agree to drop all the way down to that $200,000, which, sometimes they may not want to do. So the next thing I want to talk about is overappraised value. So overappraised value is saying, hey, let's say I want to put in a crazy offer of that $300,000 on a $200,000 home. Well, in the event of an appraisal cut, which means, hey, what I was talking about earlier, that it was assessed that the home's only worth $200,000. Well, you're willing to pay $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, $50,000, whatever, out of your own pocket to make up that difference. Because, like I said, if the appraised value comes back at $200,000, you cannot get a higher loan amount. So, really throwing out a crazy number, unless the seller is uneducated by their agent, then they're going to be like, that offer is actually not so great because it's unrealistic, essentially. So the next thing you can do to make your offer stronger is you can waive an inspection. So this is where you just say, heck, I think the home is good, I don't need an inspection. Now, I would almost never recommend this. Actually, I don't think I'd ever recommend doing this. But, it makes your offer really strong because when the seller is taking a look at offers and they know, maybe their house has some things wrong with it, they don't want to deal with the risk of basically having an inspection. So if you say, heck, let's say it's a newer home, you just don't want to deal with it, the seller is going to look at that and be like, hey, that's a lot of risk that, we're not taking. So they may be inclined to accept, even if the price isn't as good as some others. So going along with that is waived remedy. Now, I would recommend this over inspection. This is saying, hey, I'm still going to get an inspection, but I'm not going to ask for any repairs. The inspection is purely for my knowledge, and you could walk away if there are some crazy things that pop up on the inspection report, like the home is sinking into the ground or something's going to cost you thousands upon thousands of dollars. You can be like, I like it, but I'm not going to deal with that. So Waived remedy is also another thing that is appealing to sellers and does have a good weighted value to it. Next is earnest money. Now, earnest money can get a little bit hairy. I don't really think it's that powerful of a tool, honestly. It's kind of where you give some money in earnest, and let's say $1,000, $5,000, something like that. And that just sits there in an account and will eventually go to your closing costs. But if you just try to walk away for no reason at all, the seller gets to keep that money. Now, it can be a little bit appealing, but if you're buying a $200,000 home and you're giving $1,000 earnest money, that's really not that big of a deal in my opinion, but it is something nonetheless that could help your offer even in a very insignificant manner. The next thing is possession date. So what you can do is you can say, hey, I know that you're going to be closing on, let's just say, the 20th. We'll give you until the 25th or something to move out of the home. That gives them a few more days so they're not so rushed. Things like that. That could be more appealing to some sellers than others, but you definitely want to have your agent to reach out and ask them, what's most important to them. And yeah, possession can definitely make a difference. I have actually seen someone pick an offer that had thousands of dollars worth of difference, but the possession date was just a little extended, and that was enough for the seller. They're like, hey, we just want a little more time. So thanks for watching this video. I hope you were able to get some value out of it, and good luck to you. I know this market is absolutely crazy. It is so hard to be the winning offer, but that's what I was here to do, is hopefully give you some ideas. Now, obviously, a lot of what I went over is going to be impossible for you, but I just wanted to let you know every possible route that you can really take in order to conquer a multiple offer situation. So if you live in the Columbus area and you need help finding a home, I'd be happy to do so. My information is down below. And feel free to subscribe, to give this video a like if you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one.